Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to the Shay Show. My name is Shay. Today we get to speak with Mary Van Geffen. Mary Van Geffen is a simplicity parenting coach. What that means, you know what that means? She is a guru, guys. Like that magic that you guys want to know on how to show up more healthily and wholly. This lady has the in. And I'm a parent of a 13-year-old, so I need her. Hey, Mary.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to talk about a really scary topic.
I'm scared too. And because of that, I think I want to put in my headset because I want you to be super loud and clear. First of all, I just want to say the lipstick and the earrings on point.
Thank you for seeing the divinity in me.
Oh my God, Mary, we're going to be friends. We'll meet each other in person. Okay. So Mary, I was telling everybody, you are a simplicity parenting coach. And what that is for me, because that was a term that was new for me. I was like, what that means is this lady knows what it means like to peel back the layers of all the nonsense and all the stuff that's easy to attach to and help you approach parenting from a more holistic place. That's what your work does for me. And it calms me and it assures me that I'm not alone in my kind of search. So in starting, I want you to first say where you are in this world physically.
Okay. I'm in Long Beach, California, and it is sunny and beautiful. And in a few hours, I'm going to a pickleball tournament, which is a sport no one's heard of that
I have.
Enjoy. Oh, okay.
You know why? Because I worked in an environment that had kind of like a retirement arm to it,
Senior
no offense.
citizen.
So it's kind of like tennis, if you will.
For broken tennis players.
Right. Who are a little seasoned, I like to say.
Yes.
Seasoned, got that old bay on them. So Mary, I met you here on the gram, and honestly, I was a bit of a stalker. I was just always looking at every one of the words and posts you put out, because in every time you put something out, it just pared everything down and brought such clarity. So when you and I were talking behind the scenes and what we could talk about today, because there are a myriad of things that we could dive into, one of the things that you spoke about that so resonated deeply with me is parenting without having a map and still kind of being respectful and honoring of the parenting that we came from, even though it's not the parenting we're trying to proceed with.
Yeah. It's a big old topic. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do we do that in a way that honors ourselves and our parents?
Yeah.
And then also there's just the question of how do we do it? If you haven't seen somebody discipline in a positive, gentle, respectful way, are you supposed to manufacture it out of thin air? No.
So talk to me. Like, first of all, when you say simplicity parenting, what made you come to this realization or even this need? Like, okay, we got to approach this from a simple place. We got to pare this down.
Yeah. And I'm also a certified professional coactive coach. So I'm a life coach with this simplicity parenting thing. My journey, and I'll keep it short.
No, don't keep it short. Okay.
Everything was fine while I had a baby. Oh, isn't she beautiful? Look at my baby. She's an angel baby. But as soon as she hit around 2 and then up till around 4, when now my other child is 2, I was feeling copious amounts of kind of rage towards this child and what is wrong with her. And she is too big and she is bossy and she needs to be knocked down a few pegs and she's dramatic. And it was a lot of the things that had been said about me as a child. And so I'm just stepping right into the script, right?
Yep.
And so at one point when she was 4 and my son was 2, I was literally trying to find somebody to diagnose her with something. I needed ODD, ADD, something to feel like it's not me, it's her.
It's that crazy kid I got.
Yeah, I'm raising a problem.
Yeah.
So I even wanted somebody to maybe come to a preschool and watch me fly on the wall.
Montessori it.
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
it's so hard because you really don't know what's me and what's them, because there is some kind of crazy combustion happening here. And I grew up with a mom who would say things like, "You're oil and I'm water, and we don't mix." And
Ooh.
you know, you always wanted to be the queen, but I'm the queen. And so there was sort of
How'd
this.
that make you feel when you heard those things? Like, you're saying those things really quickly, but how did that make you feel when
Are
you
you going to start coaching me, and then I'm
no,
going to cry? No,
no,
I've done a lot
I'm
of
just
work.
asking. I'm curious. Girl, I'm trying to learn.
When I would have told you that prior to sort of the matrescence that I've gone through, the
Oh,
becoming a
the
mother, I would have
matrescence.
said, "Oh yeah, she's right. That's me." I would have taken a lot of the blame for being a tough kid, because I was a spirited kid, a strong-willed child
Mm-hmm.
before we had that language. And
Yes.
my mom wasn't getting a lot of support in that area. She wasn't taking parenting classes. Did they exist? I don't even know. There wasn't a book. And she was doing the best she could, and I was a spicy child. But the narrative had always been, you were too much, you were too sensitive, too dramatic,
Mm-hmm.
and it was my job to do this to you. And so that was sort of the paradigm, and it just felt normal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what
Okay.
happens.
Okay.
So I began to do that with my daughter. And so I eventually found a play therapist and took her to the play therapist once, came back a second time, and the therapist came out and said, "Next week, would you be able to get a sitter and come just you?" And I thought, "Oh, you want to tell me the game plan for how to deal with this psychopath?"
Right.
Yes, me and you, we
We're
will
right there.
we will keep her
Same
out of
page.
jail.
Yes.
And I
Oh.
came back, and then I came back again, and then I came back, and for 18 months I went to see that therapist. Never took my daughter again. And
So it wasn't about her.
no, it's never about the child. And that's the thing that we as parents have to get. It's not about the child. If something they do makes you feel so powerless, so angry, then you're having it's almost a disassociation. You are having rage that comes from something else when you were small, when you were little. And
Uh-huh.
so I had to go do my work, get myself grounded. And now I'm just dealing with a spirited, fantastic future leader of America,
Right.
a president. It's hard to
Yes.
raise a president, but I
Yeah.
don't need to call her some of the names that I was holding as describing me. Now I can say, "Oh, she's passionate. She knows what she wants. She is a leader. She is powerful." Like, those can all be true. And I can be doing my work to stand firm as a mom. But I think what a lot of folks don't know, who maybe had a more, what are some good words for the relationship you had with your mom or your dad?
Tension, contentious,
Contentious.
maybe not fruitful, maybe not nurturing, and in turn warm. There's a lot of things that
Yeah.
I hear from people.
Maybe just not as connected as you wanted. Maybe there was a lot of guilt there.
Yeah.
What I like to
I
remind
think the
people.
parents of our age, too, in their defense, I don't know if I don't think they were taught how to be emotionally connected to their children. Like, my father has never asked me a question about how my being is. Never once.
Mm,
And I will say this, I didn't have a great father, nor do I have necessarily like this, oh my God, this awesome relationship with him. But I truly know he's not a cruel individual per se. Um, but he lacked the capacity. He gave me his best, and his best
yes.
did not know how to know me.
And I want to give words to people, because a lot of people say, "Oh, my parents did it best they could." Like, they want to quickly let me know there's nothing, my parents are not bad. Your parents don't have to be bad or wrong for your childhood to have been hurtful for you.
That's what I'm telling you. I had a spiritual awakening around that information. It was that, listen, you deserved more. You needed more.
Mm.
But that was still the best that they had to give.
Yeah.
But that doesn't stop
They
me
did
from
the best
needing
they
more.
could, and it wasn't enough for
It
you.
still wasn't enough for me. I
Yeah.
still deserved more, and I still needed more. And I think that is a place where I found how to honor me. The honoring me was, hey, I needed more. And I was bold enough. This came to me in my late 20s. I actually deserve more. There's nothing wrong, because sometimes when we feel like we need more, we are made to feel like we're needy. that
Yes.
we want what is beyond what the emotion or the experience should give you. So you shouldn't even have expected that. But that's not true. I was a kid who actually wanted more, but I also was deserving of more. And that was huge for me.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean you have to say this to your parent. We can do
Right.
healing, and we can
Ooh.
shift the trajectory of our future family without some big come to Jesus moment with a parent. It's really
Right.
independent. A lot of people ask, like, how do you explain your choices to your mom that are different? And
Yeah.
that it's not really your responsibility. And to tell, you don't have to. The part of you that wants to defend and explain and persuade is the unhealed part of you. So
Oh,
I
so where
love
do we
what,
go to get the healed, girl? Where do we go to get
well,
healed
you
up?
tell your story, you make
Mm.
sense of it. I think I posted to promote
You,
this. The best
yes, girl.
predictor of a child's, I'm going to read it so it's word for word.
Please.
The best predictor of a child's security of attachment, that means their sense of self, their
Mm-hmm.
healthy way of being in the world. The best predictor of that is not what happened to their parent, but rather how their parent made sense of their own childhood experiences. Let's
Repeat
break
that
that
last part
down.
again. Yeah, please do, sir, sister. Mm-hmm.
The best predictor of whether or not a child will feel a healthy attachment to their parent and a healthy sense of self is whether their parent has done the work to make sense of what happened when they were little.
Oh, my glory to God, girl. When I hear that, it's like you have just taken me to church and put me on the front pew.
Come down,
I'm
come to the
serious.
altar.
I'm coming to the altar because that is the truth. What it does is it removes the stigma, and it also removes that I am a victim. It puts me in this very seat of awareness and therefore power. I am aware that my childhood might have been crazy. Now, what could this childhood be giving me? What is something that I can extrapolate in my life to lead a more full, rich, compassionate
Well,
life?
and Shay, you're jumping a step because you're so
Okay.
darn healthy. You're
Okay.
already
So,
going to the positive mental fitness of what were the gifts of it.
mm-hmm.
What the first step is a boatload of compassion, like a Gatorade size
Mm-hmm.
compassion for what it was like to be little when you were growing up. When you came home from school and put your hand on the knob of the door, what were you pretty sure you were going to get when you walked into that home? When you had a tough time, maybe you got hurt and it wasn't a physical hurt, it was a sad emotional hurt. What would people do to comfort you in that home? Maybe they didn't know how to comfort. Maybe they said repeated hurtful phrases to you or let you know you were too much. Like becoming aware and feeling compassion for that young part of you. And if this sounds like, what is she talking about? Look up reparenting, because I am not a therapist. Let me put that out. I'm a parenting coach.
No,
And
but
so
you're also a genius in this. This is listen, I'm not
can
kidding.
you
And I
follow
don't
me around and tell my people that, my
yes,
kids?
I will tell them because and I'm not using hyperbole and I'm not saying it to be overly unctuous or give you pleasantries. Your ability to dive into this arm of what it means to be a parent and how to do it and knowing that you're not perfect, knowing that you are lacking is perfection. It is truly a gift. It is brilliance. I truly need you to hear that. And so what you said something to me, and I want to say the same thing to you. You don't need to be a therapist to do what you do, but you do need to be Mary Van Geffen to do what you do. That's what you do need, because what you do, you lay it open, sister. Like I walk away going, oh my God, like when you said that yesterday and I saw that in your feed, the best predictor of how well my child does is not what happened to me, but it's what I do with what happened to me. That was huge for me. Again, it takes me out of the victim seat, puts me in the seat of awareness, therefore the seat of power. Now I can make some changes. Now I can do something.
Yeah, thank you for that. And one way that helped me to know when it was time to do some work, I call it like the babysitter test. If a babysitter was with your child and they were doing that behavior or saying those things, would they feel that rage you feel? If you feel that, oh my gosh, how dare they? I'm so disrespected, and somebody else wouldn't, your sister-in-law, somebody else, then it's a you issue. It's not your child's issue.
Okay. So let me just make sure I'm understanding. So if I'm like thinking about my child in a situation, is that who I'm thinking about? My child,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
If I'm thinking about my child in a situation and the child is not with, like, say, a family member, but someone that I can see on the outside, and that person does something that bothers me, or
I know. Let me
I'm trying,
explain
I
that.
want to understand.
So I used to have this thing where I would be trying to put soccer shoes on my son, and he would be really excited to get out on the field.
Yeah.
And I would feel this mounting monster within, like, stay still, hey,
Okay.
look at me. And it didn't make sense. And what I needed to know was if a babysitter could put those shoes on him while he was trying to get away because he was excited, and she would laugh and say, hold on, buddy. Or if my sister-in-law would be like, no, sit down, we got to get these shoes on. But I'm feeling this, like, how dare he's disrespecting me, I'm late again, I'm a bad that's on me. That has nothing
girl.
with his behavior.
Oh, I get it now. I get it now.
Sorry about that.
That's the babysitter test. So if you remove yourself as the parent, and if the behavior doesn't seem to evoke the same sort of rage or ridiculousness out of the babysitter, the nanny, the auntie, the uncle, then it's not your child. It is you. Yes. And now you need to go to the altar and try to get that together.
Yes. And figure out
what that hits.
Yes. And generally it just is a reminder of a hurtful concept you have of yourself that now feels like somebody's outside of you is saying again, a time when you were powerless and couldn't, stand up for yourself. And so there's this hell no, not today energy that we bring to a 4, 5, 6-year-old that doesn't really make objective sense.
Girl, keep going, girl. So that's the first part of it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so the first part is keeping the compassion on. The second part is telling the story. Mm-hmm. Like, you ever have somebody go, oh man, my mom used to bring out the belt, and they're laughing while they're telling it. That person isn't really connected to the story yet. So can you tell your story to somebody who is worthy of being told your story, somebody compassionate, somebody who's capable of tenderness and knows how to comfort? Can you tell your story and really live in it for a second? And the more you can tell that story, whether it's journaling, whether it's talking to a therapist or a coach, or being in a support group, or just a fellow mom on the park bench, the more you can articulate what it was like for you to be little and what was hard and what you wish would have been different, you grow and become empowered to be the parent for your child.
Ooh, girl.
And you're wishing, like sometimes a parent will say, my kid did I want her to, I'm never good at having an example on the spot, but let's say your child.
I have an example for you.
Okay.
I was going to ask you to use my life as the springboard. So I have a very clear memory of being, I couldn't have been older than like 7, maybe 8, but I think I'm more like between 6 and 8. And we went on I'm from the Bahamas, and we went on a family vacation. It was the first time we went as a year.
Let me hear the real accent.
I can, but my husband says that I sound like an angry Bahamian woman when I'm mad,
sure. Yeah.
Which I don't know what he's talking about.
I get very Southern. Get yourself in here right now.
Right now. Shut that door. Yeah, I love it. So we went to vacation to Acapulco. And my father did not go. He ended up at the last moment, he did not go. And I already knew that my father was a prolific philanderer. Like he did that like it was his job. To let you know, I am one of 15 children. My father has 15 children with 15 different women. I'm his only child in marriage. He had 4 children before he married my mother. He fathered 10 after he said I do, with 10 different women. I used to feel a great sense of embarrassment and shame about that as a kid when I started learning the numbers.
But wait, now you've told that story enough that the shame has slipped away, and like, this is who I am. This is part of my story. This is why I can speak into you,
Yep.
because
So
I am
use me.
one of 15 children. And, you know, like, yes,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. And the pain, though, when I think about that, was when we came back from Acapulco. I remember being in the back seat of my mom's Volkswagen. And I remember just as we're pulling up to the house, I just wanted to hurry up and get out and run into the house before anybody did. I instinctively knew. And now, as a 46-year-old woman, I'm like, oh my God, how aware was I at 6? I wanted to run into the house and get in there before my mother went in so that I could pick up any evidence of any other woman in my house.
That's why.
And I got in and I was able to do it. My mom pulled up, I got the seat up and I ran into the house. And I remember running into my mother and father's bedroom and everything looked decent. And then I remember running into my bedroom was right next to my sister's bedroom. So the moment I was in the hall, I could see both rooms and her bed was in a disarray. And I remember jumping on that bed, trying to straighten it out. And I found keys and I feel like a pair, like something lingerie. And I took those things, ran into my bedroom and put them in my drawer, put them in my drawer in my bureau. And I just did not want my mom to be upset because I was trying to keep my family together.
What a lot of pressure to be on a 6, 7, 8-year-old, that it was up to you to keep these 2 adults and to caretake for them. Like, that is way too much for a little person.
And I carried a lot of that anger and frustration in those moments. And I find that when I get really frustrated, it's hidden on a place of me not being enough, because that moment felt like I was not enough. I wanted my family to be like everybody else's family. And what everybody else's family looked like to me was mommy, daddy, children, perfection. And my family was just ridiculous.
What also happens to somebody who's had to caretake a lot for the adults is they start to have an inflated sense of what's their responsibility.
Yeah.
So you begin to kind of have over responsibility, like so-and-so's upset over there, that must be my problem.
Ooh, girl.
As well as you kind of, and we all have saboteurs within us, ways that we sabotage ourselves. And sometimes someone in your situation has a controller, and that's a part of you that's like, it's up to me to make this happen.
It's true.
And when you bring that energy to children, it doesn't work out very well, because they're chaotic. They're doing whatever they're doing, and their behavior is not a reflection of us. And you had to take a lot of responsibility and control as a young person. So I could see that being a whole part of your matrescence of unraveling the part of you that says, what do I need to do to make this right? It's all up to me. Which is just a huge like burden on your nervous system.
So keep going. I'm loving this.
Well, so some people want to know, like, okay, great, sure, I'll get healing, but how am I supposed to discipline in a different way? What does gentle or respectful or positive discipline look like?
And furthermore, how do you know it's gentle, respectful when you don't have it? You don't have the map to look to. So how do I know that this isn't hyper ridiculous? I may not know.
You might not know. And I got lots of books I can provide, but sometimes it's about finding somebody in your community where you like the relationship they have with their child. And a couple things to keep in mind. One is you picked up the wrong message growing up, and that is that discipline needs to have anger with it. And that's not true. We can discipline, because what is discipline? It's teaching. And so many I get this question all the time. What's a consequence for? Or what? Okay, so I'm not supposed to punish, but then how do I have a natural consequence? And that was sort of like super cool in the early 2000s.
Early 2000s. Yeah.
What's a natural consequence? But that's the wrong question. And so the question that we harbor in our mind is what the answer will be. It determines the answer we'll find. So the question is, how can I teach this behavior that I want? And if something's worth doing, it's worth teaching. Not how do I punish when it's wrong? That's like you're way down and you're also assuming it's not going to work out. So deciding what's the behavior you're trying to teach, and there are positive connecting ways to do that. And I mean, I got a whole bunch of them, but one of them I'll tell you is
I want to hear.
proximity parenting. We do a lot of, hey, go grab your shoes, and while we're over here thinking that we're going to do this and our kid's going to do that. But children under 10 need somebody up in their grill in a calm, kind, and firm way. So write those down if you're watching this. Calm,
no. Kind and
firm.
firm.
When you get two and not the other one, you got a bit of an issue. But if you can hit for, and we're always good at one and not good at other, but calm, kind, and firm. So I come up to you and I say, hey, it's time to get your shoes. And I'm bringing my full presence to that moment. I'm bringing my body to that moment. And I'm neurologically checking in with you. Do I have your eyes? Or do you actually hear me? Because when we're parenting, like, hey, go grab the shoes. Oh my gosh, you still haven't grabbed the shoes? Well, we were actually never gave the message. And now we're angry and want to know how we punish the person who didn't receive the message for not doing the thing we wanted.
Oh my goodness. I didn't know that. I do that. Oh,
it's
keep
okay.
going.
Don't make that face, because that's a big part of parenting without a map, is we keep learning things and it feels like we're getting punched in the face because it's yet another thing that we don't do.
Right. I do that proximity
self-talk.
parent. Girl, I am an expert proximity parent. If you need any lessons on that, I got you. Yeah.
How so? What do you mean?
I mean, like, you just laid out a scenario just yesterday in my mind where I told my daughter from my bathroom while I'm brushing my teeth, don't forget, be ready. And I'm brushing my teeth. And now she is 13.
She hears, right?
Right. And she is 13. But I had every time I told her that she needed to be ready, I told her while I was in the throes of doing something. And then finally, when it wasn't done, I said, damn it, I've told you this 5 times. And the truth is, I never did what you just did. I never looked at her, went into a room, sat down and said, okay, at 4:30, I need this complete. And I need you to have it complete and have a decent attitude about it.
Yes, ma'am. When you talk to me like that, I want to do it, Shay.
Girl, I did not do that. I was, and then doing this, you know.
And another name for that is connecting before you directing.
So where is my pen, girl? I was rushing to get here. Ooh, connecting before you directing.
Yes. So
I hope you guys are hearing that.
What?
I said, I told people, I said, listen to that. Connecting before you're directing.
Yes. You don't have permission yet in the relationship to tell somebody to do something until you have connected with them.
Which is the same thing we hear in the larger zeitgeist when we're dealing with other people and we want to bring corrective language and stuff. Like, ain't nobody interested in hearing your corrected way to do it if they don't feel like you care about them.
Yes, yes. And part of caring about somebody is coming into their world, not demanding they come into yours. So for instance, your 13-year-old.
Girl, why are you dropping all these bombs?
Your 13-year-old was probably watching some like amazing YouTube on how to do your eyebrows, right?
Right.
So the way to connect would be to walk in and go, now what is this? And take a look at what she's looking at and wait till she kind of turns to you. Connection looks like eye contact, a slight smile, maybe a nod. Now neurologically, we're in the same space. Now I can say, hey, cool. I like seeing what you're doing. I want to let you know something. And then you give your speech, right? So connection is about coming into their world.
Yeah.
Now we're here. And like young kids are like people on mushrooms. Like they are so present. It's like, I'm looking at this wall. And you're saying, hey, make sure you brush your teeth. And all I hear is, so you got to come in and look at the water with me, be in wonder. And then I'm going to look up and now you got me. And now you can give me a command.
You're going to make me cry.
What makes you want to cry?
Because I missed out on so many of those moments. I feel like I was doing the best I could, but I'm like, God dang, that is so true. That is such brilliance. And I'm going to like implement it today.
The crying is you have a longing, a desire to be connected with your daughter. And that is beautiful because likely your mom and dad did not weren't in touch with that longing. They were too overwhelmed with the cheating and the fighting and they didn't get to know, like, you have a superpower, which is I long to be connected to my child. Here's another thing I want to give the folks watching is flashing forward to the future. Like, we all know, like, begin with the end in mind. We've heard it, right?
Yeah.
And I want you to think about is 10 years from now, your daughter, instead of 13, is 23.
Oh my God.
And it's Thanksgiving.
Yes.
She's driving back from Thanksgiving and she is on pins and needles driving. And her friend's like, what's your deal? She's like, I get to see my mom. Right? I'm going to make you cry more. But in that moment, I want you to imagine she wants to see you because you have developed over these 10 years the most beautiful, connected relationship because you were calm, kind, and firm. She's so excited to see you. And her friend says, what's your mom like? How do you want her to describe you? And I want anybody listening to that to think for a second, how do I want them to describe me? Like, does anything come forward for you? Any adjectives?
Yeah, I want her to describe me as someone who is incredibly kind and in tune, in touch. My mom's just really kind and in touch. She gets stuff.
And how would she know you were in tune and in touch as she grew up over the next 10 years?
If I do more of what Mary Van Geffen is teaching me, that's what. If I do more of the
what's a behavior that you want to commit to that would communicate in tune and in touch?
Well, for me, I feel like I definitely need to have more of those connecting before directing moments. I need to have more of those sitting with her, looking at what she's looking at, being interested in what she's interested in, and not coming at it, because sometimes I'm coming at the stuff that she's interested in and I'm critical of it because I think it's bullshit or whatever. So I feel like I need to just I want to commit to being more interested, and I don't give a crap what she's interested in. I don't care how flighty or ridiculous it looks. I want to commit to be interested in it because it interests her.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, yes. I'm going to give you a metaphor that's going to help you, and that is, I want you to be a delighted anthropologist.
Girl, I've been doing that.
Good.
I've been doing that.
Culture. Like,
please tell everybody else what that is, because I saw your TikTok the other day, and by the way, I've watched it like 12 times, but I want you to say what it means to be a delighted anthropologist, the study of people.
Well, imagine that, first off, he's wearing that big goofy hard hat that I guess, paleontologists wear too. But a delighted anthropologist is like, whoa, this is what you do in your culture? Oh, okay. Oh, and now you brush your hair out with the heat iron, and now you play Minecraft. Oh, wow. What is Minecraft? So there's curiosity. There's an absence of judgment.
Yes.
There's an absence of superiority. Okay. No. The hitting the hand is the old school way.
Old school.
If the new way is, you can do this. It's encouraging that little girl in you. You've got this. You're enough. Your desire for connection and being with her is enough. That is the currency. Just hold on to that superpower, right?
Okay.
You even want this. So being a delighted anthropologist, no judgment, just noticing, maybe even saying what you see with delight, and just connecting to the wonder of it. Sometimes we're like, oh, I got to go be with my kid. Well, it can be a meditation if you let it be, like, wow, look at the bridge of her nose, how it swoops up, how deep her eyes are. Like, just bringing your full presence to another human being is actually very restorative for you. So yes, it heals you both when you show up and do that. So a couple things, back to the forward casting and thinking about who you said that you wanted to be in tune, in touch.
I wanted her to think that I'm wise. Yeah. In tune, in touch, and a kind person.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want her to think you're wise. And,
and why?
Who was it? Maya Angelou, or
tell me what the phrase is.
People won't remember what you said.
That's Maya Angelou. They won't remember what you said or what you did, but they will remember how you made them feel. And
Yeah.
that's what I try to live my life like that, thinking
So
about
I'm
that.
pushing back, Shay, on how important it is for her to think you're wise.
Okay, who
Because
cares?
it's really about how did she feel when maybe
Yeah.
she felt wise around you.
Yeah. I
Maybe
guess
you,
the reason that's why I thought she's going to go to why do I want her to think that I'm wise? I wanted her, if I'm trying to be really vulnerable, I want her to know that she is wise, that she has the capacity for wisdom, that she can assess information and things that are coming at her, and her assessment modality is good and it is to be trusted. I wanted, and so I thought if she saw me as that, she would be more apt to see herself as that.
sure, you trusting yourself, but even more important is you highlighting the moments where she should be trusting herself and you
Mm.
speaking into her, because your talk to her becomes her self-talk later. So you
Oh,
saying like, you know your body better than anybody else, or trust your body, or you have great sense around that. What do you think? And sort of bringing, especially at 12, 13, 14, it's the time to start saying, gosh, what's your plan on that? In a way
yeah.
that's not like, what's your plan?
Yeah, but
Not
tell me what
roll.
your thoughts are.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Or like, I need your advice. You're so good with friends. What do you think? Da, 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 da. So that would be the way for her
Whew.
to feel wise. But
Mm-hmm.
what I resonated with was when you said, I want her to think I'm wise. I think what you might have been saying is, I want her to know she needs me, that I'm an elder she should come to, and that I bring value. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I
gosh,
do
we
want
want
her
that.
that. I do.
Yeah. We want that. And it reminds me of, like, we don't get that from our kids. Like a lot of,
Girl, preach on this, because you said this. I hadn't ever had anybody tell me that before, but you said it the other day when we were just talking off camera, and that's not her job.
yeah, her
Please,
job is
please
not
dive
to,
into that.
yeah, and I can't remember what we were talking about before about that, but you wanting to feel valuable and needed and useful and important needs to be the job you do for yourself, because a child is not put here to do that, and they're really bad at it. Like,
Right.
pretty much, I didn't think my mom was worth a shake until I was 30, right? And
Right.
was starting to deal with my own stuff. So they're not going to come back and say, wow, you really parented me so well. It just
Ooh,
doesn't happen.
doesn't happen. And that's
Looking,
not there. But more importantly, what helped me is
yeah,
that's not Kaya's job. That's not their job. Our children's job is not to do that. But you said something even more too. You said, nor is it her job to provide like safety, understanding for me. That's not her job either.
we need to be fully grounded and able to get that in our own support systems, because
Right.
that's what she needs from us. She
Right.
needs to know that she could say the most crappy teenage thing to you. Ew, I hate the way you dress, or ew, no thanks. And we are solid like an oak, like, okay, girl, we'll come back when you do want some of this, because it's amazing, right? That's the vibe we need to have. We cannot be, oh, she doesn't like me. Oh, like, we have to find that healing and that belief and that confidence outside of the
Oh,
parenting relationship.
yes. I mean, that was freeing for me. So essentially, I want people to hear what you're saying. It's it is a one-sided thing. And it's all right. It's supposed to be a one-sided thing.
We are the giving tree.
We are the giving tree. That for me, that just frees me so much, because it stops me from putting the expectations on how my daughter should be responding to me, the things that she should be doing for me. That's 100% based on television and movies. I'm telling the truth. I know it's
Are you talking
ridiculous.
about Gilmore Girls or
Yeah,
what?
yes,
No,
like,
that is not a real relationship.
so my stuff is 100% based on Hollywood nonsense. And so I really appreciate that. When you told me that in our conversation, was it a week or so ago? I was like, I felt like mic drop. I could sit here and chew on this, like chew on my cud for the remainder of the month. Like, I just needed to really process that, because it helped me, by the way, since then, it helped me come differently to my relationship with my daughter. It helped me come with, you know what? It makes it lighter, because now I'm not coming with all these wheelbarrows of stuff that I need her to do with me or for me. I have an understanding that I am the giving tree. This is not supposed to be this two-sided, two-way thing. It's truly a one-way. Like, she is taking from me. I do not get that from her. And I don't get to demand that from her.
Yeah, and
I
what she
work on
gets
that myself.
back, because there is an energy that comes back, which is if your nervous system can relax and realize this is not an emergency, there's not one right way to do it, you're not in charge of making her a good person. If you can let that go, then what comes back is the energy of that you get to delight in her. The other day, I had 6 clients in a row and everything was planned out, and I was running out to get some coffee, and my daughter said, and she's 16, "Hey, can I show you my dance?" And then my first thought was, no, I don't have time for a dance. Make an appointment, right? And then I thought, hold on, she may not ask this again. And I said, sure, let me see your dance. And I was still doing a lot of self-management. And
yes.
As we end our call, remind me about self-management.
Okay. Well, girl, we're coming down to the end, so go on.
But I was doing some okay, just be here right now. I took a breath, and she began to do this dance she was learning in her high school dance class. And I began to cry because it was beautiful. Is she a good dancer? I don't know. But how beautiful that she wants to dance for me. Yeah. I matter enough to her that she wants to dance for me like that. That is so incredible. And then I got a little sad because I want to dance for my parents. And I don't think they're in a place on this plane where they're interested. But we all want to be delighted in.
You remind me of what Toni Morrison said to Oprah years ago. And she always quoted it, that children just want to see that they light up your eyes, that like when you walk into the room, you are lit up because they're there.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's that delight. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh,
I do want to end our time on a Glennon Doyle quote that blew my mind and encapsulated everything. And it's for the people watching this who are like, well, I want to honor my mother, or my mom, has a lot of thoughts on how I parent and blah, blah, blah. And I'm trying. And what she said is, right now, and I'm going to read it, you're being required to choose between 2 things. Remaining an obedient daughter or becoming a responsible mother. And you actually have to choose between them. A woman becomes a responsible parent when she stops being an obedient daughter.
Ooh, because it's a completely different place that you're stepping into. I get it. And there's a different requirement of it.
There is.
Because you've just taught me.
And we have to choose mother. We lived that life where we chose daughter, where we made ourselves smaller or tried to fit into expectations or dealt with stuff that didn't feel good. Now you're building your own life, and it's time to choose being the mother you want to be, which might mean being the daughter your mother doesn't want.
Ooh, girl. Oh my gosh. Okay. Do you have a book?
No.
So I'm telling you this right now. And world, hear this. Shay saw it first. When are you writing this book? Because you have stuff to say. And you know what? This lady during voting time, she was calling around to make sure I was registered. And she was this older school teacher. And I don't know why she wanted to talk to me. And I remember I was at work and I was trying to get off, but she just was like, just talking to me. And one thing she said was, she kept saying, when you meet with your daughter, do you have children? I said, yes. She goes, well, when you sit down with her and you're really frustrated and you came home from work, tell her, and she's saying something that frustrates you, just say to her calmly, it's not what you're saying, it's how you're saying it. It's not what you're saying, it's how you're saying it. Why I'm telling you that is, it's not only what you are saying, Mary Van Geffen, it's how you in fact say it. And how you say it, we need to hear it. So get that book out.
Well, and please, anybody listening, I give 1 free complimentary coaching session. I don't sell you on anything. I ask you, what's one thing you want to work on? And it's for 25 minutes. Go to the link in my bio and sign up. And we will get a plan together and we will figure it out, because I'm not into writing a book. I'm into like fully connecting and seeing somebody who hasn't felt seen.
I get it. Oh my God.
Helping them get on that path. The last thing I want to say is the most effective discipline starts with self-regulation. So your goal is to be the calmest person
in
in
the
any
room.
conflict, in any room. If instead you're right up there along with everybody else, then you need to do some work. You need to share your story. You need to talk to somebody. You need to journal it. You need to do some understanding as to why. And some of it's just like it's trapped in your nervous system, and working out helps, and moving your body. When you're angry, go move your body because it needs to get out, right?
I tell you
But
what.
the goal is to be the calmest person.
Okay, I know you have to go, but I always end in my fireball questions. Give it to me. In the spirit of James Lipton, what sound or noise do you love?
Look at the little puppy. I like doing Elmo impressions with my dog.
I love it. What sound or noise don't you love?
My husband snoring. It's very
True.
hard to sleep through.
What's your favorite word?
Right now it's tenderness.
Oh, I like that too. What is your favorite curse word?
Can I say it?
Yes, you can.
Fuck.
It's a good one. It's a good one. It's a good one. Last question, Mary Van Geffen.
Yeah.
It's awesome. If heaven exists, what do you want God to say when you get there?
Oh, it's gonna make you cry, but come over here because I have your mom's soul, and she finds you so delicious and has so much to say, and I want him to do this while my soul and my mom's soul reminds each other that all along we loved each other and we were there for each other, and we're together.
Mary Van Geffen. Oh my word. I adore you, lady. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for this time today. You go out and keep doing what you do. You make such a difference.
Here I go.
Go and dance.
Good to be with you. Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.